Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. It's Friday. I'm Tony Haggerty, Haggerty10 Twitter handle, you know that by now. And I'm joined as ever by Sean Martin at Sean Martin TCW Twitter handle. Morning, Sean, how are you?
Aye, not bad. You?
Yes, I'm okay, indeed. All things considered. Now, Celtic champagnes on ice. Sean, tomorrow they'll play Hearts, noon kick-off. They can take a significant step towards wrapping up the title tomorrow if they beat Hearts. What's your thoughts on tomorrow? Do you see them beating Hearts? Do you see that procession now towards the title?
I do, but we'll keep the score prediction for the end, I think. But I do see them beating Hearts. As you say there, it's a noon kick-off, and it's also one day before Rangers, if that even matters now. I don't think it probably matters when they play now, but it's still a good chance to make it all but impossible to be caught, and also put the kind of onus on them to make it go to the midweek. Where I must say, have I been saying behind the scenes, Tony? I can see it being Dundee United midweek title win yet again.
Yes,
but regardless of whether it does go to that or not, I think it's a good chance for them to kind of try and check. You know how I like to talk about Postecoglou probably having two columns to tick, one for the performance, one for the result. It would be a good time for them to tick both of those. Obviously, as long as it's the result one that's ticked, then it's all good. But I think it probably will want, given the way the last couple of games have gone, I think he'll maybe want both columns to be ticked and to be a good performance as well as a good result.
Now they're up against a Hearts team, Sean, Scottish Cup finalists. Players will be trying to book their place in that starting 11 at Hampden against Rangers. So it's not as if Hearts have got nothing to play for. Those players will be desperate to prove to Robbie Nielsen that they want a place in that cup final starting team.
I think that's a great point. That to me is probably why, since they've secured that third place, where the form could have dipped. They're 10 unbeaten, 7 wins and 3 draws in that run. So it's not even like it's a lot of draws. It's overwhelmingly, it's obviously 70% win rate. The 3 draws have been 2 against Ross County, 1 against Dundee United.
Yep.
So I mean they're in really good form. It's not dipped at all since they tied up third place. The fact that they've got a cup final to secure starting spots for, I would suggest, has a lot to do with that. And I can only think that their intensity will still be high going to Parkhead on Saturday. So, yeah, I think that's a great point.
And they also have the Scottish Football Writers Association Player of the Year in between the sticks, hoping to keep Celtic at bay tomorrow, Sean.
They do, aye. He's not kept him at bay so far.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you never know. Obviously, you had made the case even for the Team of the Year that maybe Joe Hart deserved a nod. James Daly, Duco James, if you're on Twitter, one of our columnists, kind of compared Hart and Gordon on the website yesterday. And weirdly, Jack Arnick actually comes out looking quite good in the goalkeepers debate. But I mean, I like Craig Gordon. I've never really got the kind of some of the bashing that he's got. I think his story is remarkable. The fact that he's still playing after the kind of couple of years out and stuff. I would argue that he's the kind of the goalkeeper of his generation as it comes to Scottish goalkeepers. But whether he's a Football Writers Player of the Year or not, he's not kept Celtic at bay so far this season. So I don't think Celtic will be thinking that's the case tomorrow.
The opening day blip apart, Sean, Hearts 1-2-1 at Tynecastle. Celtic have had the better of them in the 4 matches, 3 wins for Celtic, 3-2 in the League Cup, 2-1 in the league, and 1-0 in the league, Sean. Yes, it's 1-0 at Celtic Park and 2-1 at Tynecastle. So 3 out of 4 is not too bad, is it?
No, I mean, it was the opening night, wasn't it? Since that opening night, Celtic have won all 3 of them, as you say. Now, the 3-2 game was 3-2 going on 6-1, as we know.
We've spoken about that before, eh?
I mean, statistically, that game's still up there with the expected goals, shots, that kind of thing. So it was 3-2 kind of belied the dominance, if you know what I mean. It was, as I say, 3-2 going on 6-1. The other 2, though, 1-goal margins as well, but they were more, I think, reflective 1-goal margins. They were closer games. The 1-0 in December was the one Kyogo scored.
The marginal offside, the one that got SFA people onto speaking the radio and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, that game.
Meltdown, Crawford Allen.
That game, and then in January, that was the Real Hatate pile driver and O'Reilly made his debut in that game. But also in that one, Liam Boyce missed a penalty, and it was crucial, I think, because that game, in context of the game and in context of the wider title race, Celtic got through that game when ordinarily they might have dropped more points.
Sure.
It might have disrupted the run that they were on, but it didn't. They got through it. They got the 3 points. It kept them, I think at the time, it was 4 points off Rangers after that. And then literally a few days later, Rangers dropped points in Dingwall, and then Abada scored that late winner against Dundee United. So that made sure that early February derby was actually to go top, that kind of thing. So you can't underestimate that Hearts win in the context of what came after it.
There's been a lot of talking points. People talk about Anthony Ralston's goal, Leila Abada's goal, the one at Ibrox, but I think that penalty miss at Tynecastle is also up there in terms of just that fortune they had when Liam Boyce trundled it against the post, you know. And as you say, Celtic saw the game out because at that particular moment in time, Celtic weren't actually playing well at Tynecastle. They were kind of riding a bit of a storm, and they got through that. So I think that's up there with pivotal moments in the season for me, Sean. That he missed that penalty and Celtic got the result, having had a right good first half, and Giakoumakis scored a one-touch finish, which was sublime.
Flick behind
O'Reilly's pass, you know. So we saw Giakoumakis, what he could do that night and why he was brought to the club. So on that note, do you see Giakoumakis? A seamless kind of transition there, a segue. Do you see Giakoumakis coming back, Sean, for Saturday?
I don't actually, but
don't? Okay.
Arthur Taylor does. Big GG will burst my Gordon's bubble. I mean, I've no problem if he does. I think it's fair enough if he does, but I mean, sorry, pardon me. He could come back in. I think ultimately, though, 3 games left in the season. I think the last couple of games have made it clear that Kyogo's the first choice striker. Did Giakoumakis do enough against Rangers when he came on to say that he should be starting this one? Probably not for me, no. So I think it stays Kyogo.
Okay.
I don't, for instance, think that he'll go with both. I still don't see that.
I was just about to ask that because you said last week that he could play both. Do you think he might experiment tomorrow with both?
He could do a lot of things. I think his response. I think his response was a wee bit, theoretically I could if they're both fit, like that kind of thing. Yeah, he could. I mean, we kind of spoke about it before. I don't think he's going to move to 2 up front. I don't think, not like a lot of people say, no, he never moved from 4-3-3. He's already moved away from it this season when he had to against St Johnstone. He moved to 3 at the back and stuff like that when he was at Australia. So it's not the formation that I'm saying he'll never change. I just don't see him going 2 up front just now. So if you're saying start both, to me that's saying start Kyogo out wide, and I just don't think that gets the best out of him. And it also means you're dropping either Maeda or Jota, and also it pushes Abada one further down the pecking order to get a bit of game time. Same with Forrest. So I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, it's. I did think that answer that he gave last week was kind of flippant, tongue in cheek. That I can play the 2 of them. Not to say I will, but he did say that it's obviously an option that he had at his disposal. I agree with that. Actually, I think I said last week that I thought if Kyogo's fit, he plays. That's Ange's thinking as well. Which you see him make a mug of us tomorrow, Sean, and big Georges Giakoumakis will lead the line. But what kind of challenge are you expecting from Hearts tomorrow, Sean, in terms of, think there'll be a physical challenge? That was the reason I asked about Giakoumakis, because I thought Hearts are quite a robust side, usually are.
I think you'll get the kind of usual physicality, but they have got good players as well. They're not they're third on merit. They're in the cup final on merit as well. They can mix it up, and they often do mix it up. And we've seen earlier in the season some of the especially the midfielders they've got like to put in, let's say, risky challenges and stuff. But the likes of Barry McKay and Boyce, they are ballers. They're good players. They're technical players. Obviously we know all about Mackay Stephen whenever he plays, that kind of thing. Josh Ginnelly, is he still there? Aye, he's still there. Every time he plays Celtic, he seems to have a good game. I think he worries them. So I'd expect as I say, an intense Hearts team, despite the fact they've technically nothing to play for. Within the squad, they've got their places to keep and to lose, if you want to put it that way, for the cup final. I mean, that's the kind of challenge I expect. I don't know about yourself.
Yeah, indeed. No, I go along with that totally. I go along. As I said before, I just think that these guys, their season could have petered out, but they have a Scottish Cup final to look forward to, so that will keep them on their toes, and they will. And I agree with Chilpil. They will try to beat Celtic tomorrow. Midfield wise, Sean, would you be making changes there? I mean, O'Reilly came in last week. Did he do enough to justify selection this week, or would you back to putting Rogic back in?
Again, I kind of disagreed with you. The derby, I thought O'Reilly was actually decent. I thought he had a decent game, especially with as I say, contributing to the press and stuff. Maybe he wasn't his creative best, but I still think he played all right. I think he might keep him. After my chat with Harrison yesterday, I've kind of convinced myself that I'd really like to see Turnbull and O'Reilly together. I don't know if that's realistic. I don't know. It depends on Turnbull's level of fitness. He's obviously been in the squads, but he's not started again yet.
Yeah.
So it depends what Ange's seen in training from him. I suppose he always says that. That's how he decides these things. I've convinced myself after yesterday though that I really want to see the two of them together just to see what it's like. Whether that's realistic or not, I don't know. Would you think?
Celtic need the results, Sean. So he might go with the tried and tested rather than change it up too much.
There's a lot of chat about hair in this comment section. I noticed. I've got Jason Lee, Tony and I have the same haircut. Looks better on you, Tony.
Very kind. Thanks very much.
And then on the chat of Ange changing his philosophy, not changing his philosophy, but changing his formula. Gerald calls more chance of Sean changing his hairstyle than Ange changing his formula. Fair play.
That's fair enough. But I just think that, again, I think you might just go horses for courses and keep faith in the guys that have got them this far because they're now playing to get themselves over the line and take a significant. I mean, it is or it can be all but wrapped up tomorrow, Sean, with a victory. So I think that'll be in his mind first and foremost.
Definitely. Sean Malloy there saying Hatate needs a rest, but he will start again. Tony, I've said to you and Alison, a couple of weeks ago now, and when the kind of comments came out from his interview in Japan, saying that he felt a wee bit jaded and stuff, that I didn't expect that to logically follow him getting rested because of the time of the season that it was and because of comments that Ange Postecoglou had made before about like the likes of Rogic doing a lot of travelling, like he'll rest at the end of the season, that kind of thing. But at some point, surely it's not just about he needs a rest, but he also kind of maybe needs a wee subs appearance rather than starting a game when he's maybe not at top form, that kind of thing. So it's not necessarily a massive, he's absolutely gubbed, he needs to be dropped. It's more he needs to be rotated out because he's not actually playing that well, that kind of thing. So what do you think? Do you think he will stick with him again, or do you think he's maybe the time has come to give somebody a fresh
I maybe thinking that he might rest him or rotate him tomorrow and maybe give him a substitute appearance. I just think he looked too off it last week, and I think and he's made these comments for a reason in the Japanese media. Maybe he is feeling, physically, emotionally drained, and he's went to put his foot on the pedal and there's nothing there at the minute. And you don't blame Hatate for that. He's played 2 full seasons almost, and he's been very good for Celtic. So I think it might be the right time maybe to just rotate him and maybe bring him on after an hour or so for someone. And I don't dispute your logic that Turnbull and O'Reilly might play together, but I think when you've got somebody like Tom Rogic kicking around, then especially at home, I think you should be able to factor in Rogic there somewhere.
Think it would be O'Reilly and Rogic then, or?
He's reluctant to do that. All the times he's done that, it hasn't worked. I reckon it could be back to what you saw at the start of the season. Rogic and Turnbull possibly.
Maybe.
And McGregor because he likes Turnbull. He
mentions him constantly. He does.
So he might do that, tweak it just a wee bit, but not too much. But
maybe
it's possible. We always try and second guess him, but it's always difficult. But I'm just sort of going with what the mood music is and what he's been saying about Turnbull recently as well. Probably thinks he's ready to make another valid contribution before the end.
Well, me and Alison spoke about him yesterday in terms of he's wanting to get back in the Scotland squad as well, Turnbull.
Yeah, so
obviously relies on him getting game time though, and
correct.
again, this is where it goes back to how realistic is it to go straight in at the starting lineup with O'Reilly in a partnership that they've not played yet for a game that they've not sealed the league when they've not sealed the league yet. So I don't know, but I've almost convinced myself yesterday that I want to see that partnership.
Yeah, correct. I mean, and I think also tomorrow, I think the Celtic supporters will be turning up, Sean, with that kind of party title atmosphere surrounding it. No,
as they should. There's like
not arithmetically safe, but no, it'll go on to Tannadice. Sorry, if in the midweek to make automatically certain. But I think there's a fair party mood and spirit amongst the Celtic supporters that are going to go tomorrow, isn't there?
No, as there should be. I mean, you've got to remember where the team were at the start of the season and stuff. I mean, Michael McDonald puts it well here. It's his first season, and the double is I'll put in a wee bracket there, almost in the bag. So no complaints. You can't have any complaints. You can't.
No, not in the slightest.
It's very much should be a party atmosphere tomorrow, and I think it's deserved. What about this, Jason Lee? Maybe start Beaton, move McGregor further up.
Yeah, he's got that at his disposal, hasn't he? If he wants to do that, we talked about the robust nature of Hearts challenge, so that could maybe suit a game for Beaton. He's got a plethora of options that he can do tomorrow. All the Celtic supporters want is for them to go all out to get that victory, and which would all but tie it up, and all but name, so and then do it at Tannadice in the fall and in the midweek. So, but I think first and foremost, Celtic need to get the victory, Sean, just to let people breathe a bit more easily again,
Nah, definitely. I mean, you've got Hutton Jordan there saying, Rogic needs to start at home tomorrow. He can make the difference. That's essentially what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. And I think, again, depending on the way you see the game going, I wouldn't even put it past them starting O'Reilly and Rogic. Now, I've obviously criticised it as a pairing in terms of a smart, intelligent team that can pass out of a press will exploit the spaces that they leave when they play together, and it will leave McGregor behind them exposed, that kind of thing. Hearts are a good team. Would you say that they're a amazing team at passing out of a press? I don't know. And if you think that Celtic are going to spend the majority of the game in the Hearts half, the space will be limited for them to exploit anyway. And you might argue that the two creative players being there in the middle actually lends itself to breaking that down. But it depends on how you see the game going. It might not be like that. But I wouldn't put anything past Ange with team selection, to be honest with you.
Very much so. Very much so. But I think the thing is, well, Sean, it's been a wonderful rebuild and a wonderful season. And I think the Celtic supporters would have snapped your hand off back in June when Ange was unveiled for this moment, regardless of anything else that's happened this season. Celtic supporters just wanted to win that title back, didn't they?
Yeah.
First and foremost, and get themselves into the Champions League and the riches that will come from that. And as it's proven to be, they're on the cusp of doing that, and it's been a marvellous achievement for Ange in his first season.
Definitely. I mean, there is nobody I think you'll find that will disagree with that. That's why he's won Manager of the Year. It's the transformation itself is worthy of it, but obviously trying to do it and putting in place a style of football with a massive turnover in players isn't easy. It doesn't matter how much you spend, even if the net spend is never quite as much as what people like to make out. It takes a lot. It takes not only force of personality, but to do it without your backroom staff as well. The fact he won Manager of the Year is the least surprising thing for me about it. It's he obviously does. It says he appreciated it, but ultimately wasn't he? It's not really why he's here. That kind of thing, which I think maybe lends itself to seeing why he's managed to do it. Why he's managed to convince the staff that were already there, that some of the players that were there and ones that came in, to do it his way and to embrace his way. And as a few of the comments I've said already today, this is just year one of it. So more to come in year two.
Yeah, we've spoken about this, Sean. It's phases, isn't it? We spoke about phase one, and this was phase one really of the rebuild, wasn't it? We're now going into phase two, which is the second season, hoping to replicate that and also to make an inroad in Europe. A competitive force, which is what the manager wants to be. Spoken about that previously, And he had that clip last week about the trophy. There's a trophy down the road that he can show them to show you how successful Scottish teams can be in Europe, and he didn't need a history lesson on that. So, I mean, he's saying all the right things, Sean, and his team are playing and winning the right things. It's now to marry that, isn't it, and take it on to the next phase, which is European football as well. But first and foremost, in order to do that and compete at the highest level, they had to win the title, and he's done that, and he's done that with aplomb.
Yep, Big Ange's beard. This has been astonishing, onwards and upwards. David Bradley, 6 players, please. Potentially, I still think, depending who goes out, you're talking 4 or 5 to supplement the first team. Actual first team quality players. That's all. That again, Tony, you're sick of me saying it, but that is the key for me. It can't just be recruit players that might be good enough for the first 11. It's got to be players that actively are better than who's already here.
You're better with what's there, of course. And I think if they do that, then they'll be in good. They'll be in good stead and can be competitive. And also, we spoke about it the other day that they don't have qualifiers. There's
the benefit of a full pre-season, which obviously we found out yesterday they're going to Austria again.
Yeah.
Last time they went to Austria, they came back, won a treble. Then again, they've done that for 4 years in the trot, so could have went in a lot of places and won a treble. But and then also they're playing Blackburn and Norwich, was it? And home friendlies, which will be on your season tickets as well. So, but I think it bodes well. The recruitment's obviously going to be key. Gary McDowell channeling his inner depth chart there said it's more about the standard of player we can bring on that changes the game. I agree with that. That's been my thing all season. I think that's the key. That's the key, and it will be the key going into next season as well in Europe as well as domestically.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's on to Hearts tomorrow, Sean. Celtic supporters turning up in party mood and party spirit, hoping they can defeat Hearts and make the title all but a formality, Sean.
Yep, you going to score prediction? You going first this week?
Oh, okay, I'll go score prediction. Yes, I'll go first. I'll say 3-0 to Celtic.
I thought you were going to pick the same as me there. I'll go 3-1, and the reason I'm going 3-1 because usually I go clean sheet. I put my faith in defence and stuff like that. But I do think Hearts carry an attacking threat, so I don't think them scoring is out with the realms of possibility. But I think Celtic will start quickly. I think he'll want a response and a performance. As I say, he'll want the result and he'll want the performance. So 3-1 I'll go. I'm not going to say a scorer because every time I say a scorer I say Starfield and my bet never comes in. So whisper it.
Indeed. And if I can just draw your attention to the bottom of the screen, troops, £3 to subscribe for the next 3 months. Hit that subscribe button, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. And as Sean and myself always say, we thank all the subscribers already. We're really indebted to you for that, and thanks very much. And all the commenters as well. We try and read as many as we can out. But we're grateful and thankful for all the subscribers that we have so far, and hopefully we can get some new ones as well.
Yep.
If you look at the bottom, £3 for the next 3 months, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. You know what to do, guys. Thanks for joining us. Have a fantastic Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. Hopefully Celtic can beat Hearts and the procession starts here, Sean.
Cheers, Tony. Cheers, guys.